When the whisper of a royal command echoes through the hallowed halls of Windsor, few dare to ignore its resounding impact. In a shocking twist, Prince Andrew finds himself unexpectedly barred from the regal gates. What drove this unprecedented move by King Charles, and what secrets lie behind this dramatic decree? Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. It was an announcement that sent shockwaves through the corridors of power. King Charles, seasoned by years of intrigue and adept at the art of quiet yet mighty gestures, issued an edict that would ripple beyond the castle walls. Windsor Castle, a symbol steeped in centuries of majesty and ancestral echoes, now became the stage for the unfolding drama. This fortress, once a haven and bastion of the family's unity, seemed suddenly to shutter its gates to one of their own. Such defiance in tradition harkens back to days of yore, where every command bore the weight of legacy and imperishable duty. For Prince Andrew, the decree felt like the cold clang of a drawbridge sealing him off from a world he has always known. The immediate emotional aftermath left his confidantes stunned, scrambling for solace in an unfathomable reality. This was not merely exclusion from stone and mortar. It was a symbolic exile from the heart of the monarchy. A resplendent title now tainted by whispers of repudiation, it opened an old wound and ushered in a new saga of sorrow and solitude. As this royal suspense tumbled into public consciousness, the media spun tales with relentless energy. Headlines ignited like wildfire, each iteration more sensational than the last. Speculation soared, and amongst the clamour, questions ricocheted through the public sphere. Had a fracture too deep to heal finally split open? Was this retribution, or a strategic gambit in a game only those within royal shadows could comprehend? For a family under ceaseless scrutiny, such discord was both a bane and a beacon, casting old shadows under new scrutiny. Simmering beneath the regal veneer was a maelstrom of betrayal and shifting loyalties. In palace alcoves, hushed conversations probed the king's motives. Fraternity and rivalry melded in a tapestry of loyalty and legacy, weaving a foreboding tension that threatened to unravel the very essence of this monarchy. Amidst this vortex, King Charles emerged as both architect and adjudicator, a ruler shaped by inheritance, yet driven by personal conviction. His reign, thus far a balance of noble charisma and shrewd calculation, seemed now to tilt the scales with this singular, stunning decision. As Prince Andrew processes the shocking exclusion, questions swirl like a gathering storm. What deeper motives fuel King Charles's controversial command? Enter the clandestine corridors of royal intrigue, where old wounds fester beneath polished veneers. The animosity behind palace doors runs deep, revealing the fractured brotherhood between Andrew and Charles, a tale where past grievances come to a head. It was here, behind the regal curtains, that latent tensions morphed into palpable rivalry. The space once envisioned for shared laughter and brotherly bonds had twisted into a stage for subtle battles and cold stares. From childhood, whispers of preference hovered darkly over family gatherings. Charles, the sober future king, felt weighted by the mantle of responsibility, even as Andrew, the more flamboyant spirit, enjoyed an ease of charm and charisma that seemed to escape his elder brother. Yet, beneath the formalities, Andrew nursed a simmering sense of displacement, a perennial sense of living in the looming shadow of a future monarch. Years unfolded with a series of events that only widened the chasm between these blood-tied foes. Charles's ascension faced tumult. Facing the scrutiny and expectations Andrew watched from afar, every triumph of Charles felt like a casting of Andrew further adrift into the peripheral darkness of royal duties. Notable moments marked their journey. Charles's steadfast adherence to duty masked his deeper struggles, unintentionally igniting the embers of resentment in Andrew's heart. An offhand comment here, a perceived slight there. Each encounter placed another brick in the towering wall between them. Insiders, whose allegiance shifted like the wind, spoke in hushed tones of family dynamics strained to their limits. The corridors echoed with gossip that the brothers' discord was keenly felt. The rift had its ripples across the family, with Queen Elizabeth herself caught in the crossfire of familial duty and motherly affection. Her reign had mastered the art of balance, yet even the unshakable monarch could see the lines of division hardening within her beloved family. The Queen's passing left a void not only in the nation's heart but within the hearts of her children too. The throne room, empty of her presence, became a battleground for power and position. The absence of her stabilizing hand shifted the familial power structures, leaving Charles to wear the unyielding crown, with the weight of lost time pressing down upon him. Here, in the aftermath, Andrew's feelings of marginalization deepened. Betrayed not only by bloodlines, but by the circumstances of destiny, he grappled with an existence defined by what might have been, rather than what is. Suspense blankets the palace as clues of more perilous times emerge. Murmurs of alliances and secret missives weave through royal ranks, hinting at a tipping point lurking dangerously near. The tension has never been higher, each member of the fractured royal family preparing for the storm threatening to engulf them. Andrew, besieged by exclusion and angst, stands at the precipice of rebellion, his heart a battlefield of conflicting loyalties and desires. And as whispers of hidden agendas linger, one must wonder how this family saga spirals towards a breaking point of no return. In the cloaked corridors of royal corridors, where whispers thrive and shadows watch, a series of revelations were poised to disrupt the polished veneer of noble grace. The world waited with bated breath, eyes cast upon the stately figure of King Charles, whose decisive command begot scandal and introspection. The whispers clung to every word, every gesture, as the name that echoed through marbled halls was Prince Andrew's. His presence now little more than a ghost amid a tempest of accusations and insinuations. What simmered beneath this storm, where truth and deceit danced a perilous waltz? The prince, once the favoured spectre at majestic feasts, found himself ensnared amid the ivy of controversy. Saturated were the allegations, whispers of impropriety and enigmatic dealings, but what weighted most upon the crown's heavy brows were the veiled fingers pointing reproachfully behind closed doors. Was this a solitary conspiracy weaved by circumstance, or the unravelling of years tethered to unspeakable lapses? Even as the world and its gossamer web of speculations spun tales of royalty besmirched, King Charles contemplated with a studious glare. The realm expected his judgment, one poised to weigh heavier beyond stolen headlines. Strategic wisdom whispered compliance, as the quivering strings of monarchy demanded preservation. Each declaration carried the burden of duty, yet bore the stamp of a decision steeped in personal vendetta, or so said those who preferred shadows over light. His choice lay buried not merely in judgment, but perhaps among echoes of history best forgotten, where kings were makers and unmakers of destiny. Cracks within the plastered familial fabric glared with stark contrasts. When the royal family, itself caught in the eye of this unyielding storm, donned public faces moulded into stoic resilience and private thought cloaked in measured dissent. Some nodded in solemn approval, masking ancient rifts beneath guise of solidarity, while others quivered with silent rage masquerading as indifference. Their statements dripped with velvet poise, yet their eyes betrayed the tumultuous, fathomless sea of turmoil rising beneath. To the public, this spectacle birthed a frenzy. A kingdom divided was now courts of conjecture. Was this orchestrated to safeguard a crumbling legacy? A statement, perhaps, refusing to muffle a brewing tempest? Or were unseen hands at play, crafting a fable of betrayal where truth and deception lay as bedfellows? Each murmur in common taverns bore the echo of question. Were the gilded halls truly fungible treasure troves for whispered maladies? As opinions swayed, so did the pendulum of royal favour, balancing precariously above a precipice of unknowns. Reflecting upon Prince Andrew's public persona, a figure of regal stature and public endearment, one evoked images of gallant splendour until juxtaposed against these haunting spectres of disobedience and disgrace. A Jekyll and Hyde penned with blood and honour, his public charm could not falter beneath the private shadows that threatened to topple the throne in scandalous retort. As suspicions grow, what entangled royal responsibilities could unravel the gilded thread of blood ties? The palaces held their breath, a stage set for further embattled odysseys as invisible hands danced behind embroidered curtains. What lay beneath the surface, a tangled weave of twilight truths yet to be unfurled, awaits intrepid seekers to venture into the heart of regal tempest. Would loyalty or vengeance wield the final stroke against an intricate game where silence speaks louder than words? When old alliances fracture and new adversaries emerge, the royal chessboard shifts with unpredictable moves. In a kingdom where tradition weighs heavily, the moment was nothing short of seismic. Prince Andrew found himself at a perilous crossroads, the kingdom itself teetering under the burden of scandal. Yet, in his darkest hour, a coalition of steadfast allies assembled. The Duke of York, with an air of desperation and determination, found unexpected support from the steadfast Lord Haverton, whose lineage was entwined with the royal family's history. Haverton, a cunning diplomat, saw in Andrew not just a beleaguered prince, but an embodiment of an institution worth salvaging. Together with Lady Eleanor, a fierce advocate for Andrew who knew the intricacies of court life, they weaved plans that whispered of redemption and resurgence. Their backing was not just a display of loyalty, but a calculated risk in a game where each move could tip the delicate balance of power. However, the scent of betrayal lingered in the halls of Windsor. Just as allies appeared, so too did unanticipated adversaries. Figures like Sir Reginald, once a trusted confidant, now cast their lot with King Charles. They wielded whispered truths and half-lies like daggers, seeking to fortify Charles's decision to distance the family's reputation from Andrew's tarnished name. This nascent opposition, fueled by a desire for purity and preservation, viewed Andrew's continued involvement as a threat to the monarchy's future. Their opposition wasn't solitary. They spoke with the authority of King Charles, whose command was the very law that sculpted destiny. Allies and adversaries entwined in this unfolding drama, a vivid tapestry where loyalty and treachery danced beneath the shadow of crowns. Quietly, behind closed doors, the royal whisperers possessed influence rivaling the kings themselves. Courtiers, adept in the art of subtle influence, manipulated sentiment and counsel, swaying the opinions of those untrained in their silent wars. They planted seeds of doubt or hope, moulding the perceptions of Andrew's allies and adversaries alike. Some, like the enigmatic Mistress Clarendon, loomed large as an unseen spectre, her words laden with a gravitas that turned tides within the advisory circles. Power dynamics shifted subtly, yet profoundly, as whispered conversations became the fulcrum on which judgments would balance. Demonstrations of loyalty from royal subordinates became both a balm and a chisel to Prince Andrew's spirit. Loyalists, some bound by duty, others by genuine affection, offered emotional pleas, a tangible solidarity amid waves of skepticism. Lady Margaret's tear-laden appeals held the emotive charge of family torn yet resilient. Symbols of devotion appeared in public spectacles, the fervour of these demonstrations pushing against the narrative woven by adversaries. Ties that bound were put to the test, straining under scrutiny, yet refusing to be severed by public condemnation. Outside the palace walls, the public responded to this royal tempest in polarised fashion. The commoners' collective voice, the court of public opinion, rose and fell like a tempestuous sea. For some, Andrew remained ensconced in his role as a flawed, yet redeemable prince, a figure of human complexity within a dynasty of immaculate veneer. For others, his very existence in their monarchic circle fueled outrage, a relic of privilege best erased to make way for a new chapter. The populace was divided, their allegiances wavering, further complicating the machinations at play within the royal court. As the court of public opinion sways like a mighty pendulum, internal battles hint at fractures that could redefine the monarchy forever. In this vivid clamour for resolution, the lines between friend and foe blurred, setting the stage for a chapter yet unwritten but inevitably climactic in its promise. In the court of public opinion, stakes never came higher. The kingdom watches, divided as Andrew steps into the spotlight. Can he win back both his family's trust and the people's heart, or does each appearance court catastrophe? Andrew's public appearances have become a spectacle, a series of calculated gambles on a stage where sentiment is as fickle as the winds. A prince once sheltered by the palace's grand walls now finds himself exposed to the raw, unflinching gaze of the world. There's an undeniable gravity to each move he makes. Each word he utters meticulously prepared, but endlessly dissected by a skeptical audience. Yet, beneath the polished veneer, every step carries the risk of unraveling, each statement potentially a step further from redemption. In interviews that send ripples through 1,000 living rooms, Andrew's words are edged with a desperate sincerity, a plea masked in regal poise. Emotion bleeds through controlled smiles and carefully scripted responses. He holds his breath, hoping that truth and charisma might sway the cynical minds that have already carved their judgments into stone. But the court of public perception is unforgiving and relentless. Decisions that once lay within hallowed halls are now puppeteered by voices beyond the palace gates. The whispers in the ears of decision-makers grow louder, challenging the very marrow of royal authority. Social media storms surge with a life of their own, each retweet a heartbeat in a cacophony of support and outrage. It is a force that no monarch could have foreseen, a beast unchained and rampaging through the delicate fabric of courtly discretion. As he stands at the crossroads, fervent supporters raise their banners high, faces alight with unwavering loyalty. Yet their chants are met with the cold, cutting opposition of critics whose voices crescendo into a deafening clamour outside palace walls. This is a realm where adoration can turn to disdain in a breath, where a single misstep might spell ruin for a man striving not just to claim the mantle of royalty, but to prove a reign worthy of memory. Tensions bubble beneath the surface, each public encounter a tantalizing preface to the private turmoil unraveling behind fortress stones. All eyes focus on the looming misunderstanding within the royal family, a reckoning that whispers stealthily of betrayal. Kin against kin, in a portrait worthy of tragedy's brush, the kingdom waits with bated breath, pulse quickening, knowing that the true confrontation remains shrouded in the echoes of ancestral chambers. As words wield power and secrets unravel, the tension tightens towards an ultimate crescendo behind closed doors. Under a canopy of opulence and age-old grandeur, a storm brews within the hallowed halls of the royal palace. The air crackles with anticipation, every breath a whisper of the gravity that the forthcoming encounter bears. The weight of this moment cannot be overstated. It is as though the very walls cradle the secrets of centuries, now witness to a new chapter of turmoil. Charles looks every bit the monarch, shoulders broad with the burdens of a kingdom, his gaze unwavering as he stands at the cusp of this fateful meeting. Across from him, Andrew holds his ground, an enigma wrapped in layers of charm and controversy. The irony could almost be palpable brothers, bound by blood, yet divided by a chasm as vast as any battlefield. The conversation begins, hesitant words dipping into the thick, tense silence. Each syllable carefully chosen, a dance of verbal swords that pierces deeper than any steel. Their words don't merely carve through the air, they tear at the very tapestry of their shared history. For Charles, the crown sits heavy, a constant reminder of duty. A stark contrast to Andrew's more rebellious narrative, a life written in headlines, shadowed by public scrutiny. An inconspicuous nod of understanding passes between them, a silent acknowledgement of what they stand to lose or perhaps what little they have left to gain. Within these gilded confines, the themes of forgiveness and power collide, vying for supremacy in a realm where personal feelings are oft sacrificed on the altar of public duty. Each accusation, each plea, reverberates with echoes of past grievances, forgiveness trailing just out of reach like a reluctant spectre. For all its might, the monarchy is portrayed not on the grand scale of national policies, but on the intimate, fraught stage of brotherly bond. Personal differences stand stark against the backdrop of family loyalty, unresolved tension twisting and winding like invisible chains. As the dialogue swells, so too does the intensity of the emotional maelstrom that engulfs them. Their voices ebb and flow, at times a torrent of unresolved anguish, elsewhere a soft murmur of reconciliation's tentative overtures. One moment, they are brothers enveloped in familial sorrow. The next, each navigates the minefield of royal expectation, where every word could spell salvation or ruin. Attendees, discreetly positioned in the shadows, strain to catch fragments. Their ears are tuned to every raised eyebrow, every subtle shift in tone, a courtroom drama unfolding behind closed doors. Yet for all their attentiveness, the true outcome remains shrouded, a spectre lurking just beyond the realm of certainty. A profound suspense lingers in the aftermath, a silence heavy with the weight of untold futures. Eyes meet, lingering just a fraction longer, as though seeking an answer that remains tantalizingly beyond their grasp. It's a dance of understanding and oblivion, leaving attendants to speculate indefinitely on what the kings and the prince did not say. The fate of the monarchy teeters on this precipice of confrontation. Will it emerge reforged stronger or etched forever with fractures? As the echoes of confrontation reverberate, one question hangs in the balance: how will this change the future of the British monarchy? The dust begins to settle on a scene of regal disruption. Power and prestige, once felt unshakable, now teeter like porcelain ornaments on a crooked shelf. Amid this delicate equilibrium stands Andrew, the unwanted bearer of unprecedented change. The clamour of his choices echoes through the palace halls, where each gilded frame whispers rumours of betrayal and resilience. He faces the burden with a conflicted heart. Its beats syncopate between guilt and an odd sense of liberation. His gaze, weathered now by the storm, lingers on family portraits, questioning fidelity and the price of his audacity. Andrew's personal tempest, though ceasing in its immediate anger, whispers promises of sleepless nights and sombre reflections. The monarchy itself reels from the aftershocks. It is a spectacle watched by millions who hunger for their rise or perilous fall. With eyes observing the slightest tremor in royal composure, public judgment pricks like cold steel upon flesh, warmed by legacy. Facades crack where charades once held sway, revealing the raw innermost anatomy of an institution struggling to fend off obsolescence. The grandeur of the crown now shares space with uneasy vulnerability. The very walls of the palace telling tales of frailty. They must reckon with more than tradition. Reputation, once a spinning shield, relies on transparency in this new age. Within this labyrinth of reflection, King Charles stands. He, the architect and defender of royal sanctity, now questions the very foundation of his convictions. Awash in the quiet turmoil of hindsight, he contemplates decisions sealed in ink and blood. Were these the sacrifices necessary to uphold the weighty helm of leadership, or merely steps taken in shadow and ignorance? The answer remains elusive, dancing just beyond his grasp, a spectre of regret and hope intertwined. Speculation sizzles, uncertain tendrils reaching out to touch future possibilities. The royal family, now more a maze of foxholes than steadfast lineage, ponders a union of wills. Can these fraught dynamics transform into a tapestry of reconciliation, or do fault lines etched in familial crises run too deep to mend? Questions that flicker through the halls like whispers from centuries past, bending and blending with the murmurings of a crowd that once cheered their every movement. Yet, the ending of royal mystique seems a world half-finished, like a painting struck blind by sudden light. For every tarnished jewel, there lies the potential for rebirth, even redemption. From these battlegrounds of love and loyalty sprout the delicate seeds of hope, nestled unaware beside entrenched doubt. Eyes turn skyward, seeking solace among the stars, where every shattered crown awaits the dawn of what could be a promising new era, if only hearts hold fast against the siege of time. Amidst aftershocks of royal rebellion, an uncertain horizon stretches before those who stake their lives on blood and empire. As tradition collides with transformation, a nation peers into the opalescent crystal of royal destiny. The monarchy stands at an unprecedented crossroads, Its ancient legacy casts long shadows on the realm's future. Will it persist, redefine, or falter in the coming tide? For centuries, they've been the guardians of tradition, the embodiment of continuity in a world often fractured by change. Yet, the weight of that legacy is now intertwined with a modern world's relentless push toward progress. The challenges facing their grandeur have never been greater, as whispers of waning relevance spark fevered debates. Caught in this unyielding tension, the public's perceptions evolve, demanding more transparency, more relatability, and a redefinition of purpose. This new era beckons with both an unprecedented sense of potential and a haunting echo of past shadows. The ripple effects of recent revelations have sent tremors through the heart of royal protocols, casting doubt over their ancient practices. As the palace doors, once tightly shut to the outside world's scrutiny, creak open, there lies a tantalizing opportunity or a perilous precipice. Future protocols will undoubtedly bear the imprint of today's crises, ingrained into the very fabric of tradition now forced to accommodate the discerning eye of a digital age. As contemporary narratives weave with yesteryear's stories, a question looms overhead, etched in the cautious glances of courtiers and the hopes of those who yearn for change. In the midst of this, the spectre of Prince Andrew lingers, a complex figure whose presence reshapes the line of succession, reframing the monarchy's moral compass. The next generation bears the inheritance of his choices, a burden and a warning in equal measure. His legacy, an indelible mark, offers painful lessons as the young royals navigate the labyrinth of history, privilege, and circumstance. They are the torchbearers of tomorrow, faced with the daunting task of sculpting a monarchy for modernity, while tethered to the echoes of yesterday's decisions. Amidst mirrors reflecting past reigns, one discerns patterns that seem to repeat, yet each iteration carries the hope of fresh outcomes. The winds that once toppled crowns now whisper promises of creation and transformation, teaching resilience and a kind of wisdom only hardship can bestow. As the nation waits with bated breath, poised between nostalgia and expectation, the kingdom stands not on the precipice of an end, but possibility. It's a moment for reinvention, a passage through which the old might be born anew. In the twilight of secrets and power, the notion of forever and the essence of now entwine till the next royal chapter unfolds.